Hello, everyone, and welcome. Today, I am going to give you a walkthrough of the India trip that is planned for January of 2025. Excuse me. This will give you an opportunity to know exactly what we'll be doing and ask any questions that you may have before registering for this trip. First, let me start by saying that the embarking on a journey like this is transforming at multiple levels. Transforming on the mental and emotional level, you will see and experience things you might not have ever seen or experienced before. You may have new insights that come to you. You'll be changed by your witnessing of this beautiful and sacred country, India, and the people there that are very friendly and welcoming. You'll most importantly be transformed at a soul level, a spiritual level. That is because the vortexes that we will be entering are sacred spaces that hold power and energy that have been there for sometimes thousands of years. And because the worship and dedication and energy of that particular location is so intact, and Dr. Pillai says even the siddhas come to the temples and they leave their energy there. They go and pray there as well. And we're going to go into those vortexes. And so when you enter into that vortex, the energy is so potent that you at an energetic and soul level will be transformed. And we'll be going on a host of, going to a host of temples on this trip. So Dr. Pillai likes to say that it's a pilgrimage, not a picnic. We will be moving quickly to many different locations. It is an intense time, and we will give you some, downtime to rest, but it is a pretty fast-moving journey. And the reason for it is because the intention behind it is to change your karma, is to change your destiny. And when you enter these locations, these power spots, these vortexes, the shift that happens at a soul level, excuse me, transforms your destiny. So you can call it karma removal because it's removing the past karmic thoughts and baggages and habits that you had been really set into. You can call it destiny changing because now after this karma has been removed, you get to navigate through a whole new destiny. You can call it timeline jumping because the timeline that you were on is now shifted to a new one. And part of the meditations that we'll be doing on the trip is to both let go of the habits and patterns and karma that you've had or you've been living and create a new destiny. So this trip is all about creating a new destiny. And we'll do some meditations to help you focus in and hone in on what that new destiny looks like for you so that you can be imagining it, visualizing it, embodying it in these power spots. So that's the purpose of this trip. So now let's walk through what it all entails and see if this is something that is right for you. Okay, so you should see our page 1 here and the different trips that pilgrimages that are available. I do want to note that there is an early enrollment savings that expires on November 16th. And it's $100 for the full trip and $50 off for the birthday pilgrimage. One of the reasons why we're going to this trip during Dr. Pillai's birthday is because he has said that the reason he came to the earth plane is to be able to change people's destiny. And that's his city power. That's what he does best. And his birthday represents that energy being birthed on this planet. And when we tap into him and his energy on that power spot, and we're going to also be in his place of birth on his birthday, which is another opportunity for just shedding layers of karma and creating a new destiny. That this power time and the blessing of the guru, the blessing of your teacher, is empowering that even more. So that's the significance of going during Dr. Pillai's birthday. We're compounding the efforts of all of the ways in which we can remove karma, reduce suffering, and create a new destiny. So, Dr. Pillai's birthday. So on day one, you will arrive in India on January 30th. And that is when Dr. Pillai will give his first virtual initiation or welcome. I shouldn't say initiation on that day. This is more of a welcome. He will kind of set us up, maybe give us a teaching, give us something to do, a mantra perhaps throughout the whole trip. We're not sure. He'll deliver whatever is divinely inspired in that moment, and that will be via Zoom. So everyone will be virtually with him. Last time, he was gracious enough to meet and greet everyone one-on-one via Zoom, which is really just you going up, saying your name, and getting a virtual blessing via the Zoom session on video. And then the next session that you'll have is an initiation, and it's his birthday message. You and all of us will be in Rameshwaram, which is his birthplace. We will have already gone to the 22 wells and the temple and been immersed in these rituals for the entire day. And then we'll meet with him, which is another layer of just receiving these blessings and empowerment for a very powerful time and transformation. It's an incredible time for transformation. This is his birth date, which is February 1st, but it's also his birth star day on the same day, which is very rare that this happens. That means it's a double power time basically for him, because his birth star and his birth date coinciding on the same day. And then you will be in his birthplace, Rameshwaram, which is considered one of the most sacred and powerful places on earth for removing karma, which is why Dr. Pillai said he was born there, so that for the first 18 years of his life, he could be in this, kind of soaking in the energy of this karma removal power spot. And that's what you'll be experiencing. I am your guide. This is a little bit about me. I've been traveling throughout India for over 20 years with Dr. Pillai, whether it be on group trips like this or private journeys with him. And I am in love with India's ability to just provide us such a rich experience in karma removal. I'll be able to stay in touch with Dr. Pillai regularly throughout the trip and pass on messages from him. Last time he stayed in touch with us quite a bit, making sure he knew where we are at any given time, and really creating an energy around every one of us. So here are some important information about arrival and departures. So on January, if you're going to do the birthday pilgrimage, that is from January 30th through February 6th, you'll need to arrive anytime between 10 a.m. India time and midnight on January 30th. Now, the earlier you arrive, the more you'll be able to do in India. So we're going to be planning some temples for the folks who arrive early. But if you arrive by midnight, that's fine, because we're departing the next day to journey onward. You'll just miss a couple miss a couple temples in Chennai. You will need to schedule your departure for after 8 p.m. on February 6th. Same arrival for our January 30th through February 9th, and your departure is 8 p.m. on February 9th. Why this is important is because we are traveling as a group, and you don't want to, if you schedule your flights at a different time than this, then there'll be additional costs, which is fine. If you'd like to pay for an additional hotel night, and because it's more convenient for you, absolutely no problem. Just understand that these arrival and departures are what's included in the package that we're offering. But we're happy to help you, accommodate and schedule the rooms for you before and after. You just need to let us know, and we'll help you with that. Not a problem at all. So we want to make this as easy for you as possible. So here's our route. I wanted to give you a little visual of the pilgrimage and how it's going. So we arrive in Chennai. It's up here. We're going to fly down to Madurai. And from Madurai, we will drive to Rameshwaram. We'll be on Rameshwaram for about 2 days. Then we will drive to Tuticorin, and that is where we will go to the 9 Vishnu temples. Then we'll go over to Tirunelveli. I'm sure I'm saying that incorrectly. And we'll be going to a very special Agastya temple with waterfalls. It's incredible. Then we will travel up to Madurai. In Madurai, we'll go to the Meenakshi Temple and which is very famous, and then a very powerful Kosami Temple, and a couple more probably temples while we're there. Then if you're doing the birthday trip only, you will fly back to Chennai. And if you're staying with us through the whole trip, then we will drive to Kumbakonam, go to many temples in this temple capital, and stay there for a few days, and then we will drive back up to Chennai. So that's a little bit about how the route will go. So here's our day-by-day itinerary. We arrive, like I said, you're going to arrive on the 30th between 10 a.m. and midnight that day. The earlier you arrive, the more temples you'll go to. But again, whatever's convenient for you. So the Brizzy temple will be in the morning. So if you arrive super early or the day before, you'll go to that. You'll be able to go to the Brizzy temple. And if you arrive in the kind of mid-morning, you'll be able to go to these afternoon temples. The Vadavude temple is a temple for the goddess of beauty. It's also for healing, marriage, and children. The Royapuram Angali temple is a temple that Dr. Pillai talks about quite often. It's incredibly powerful for goddess Angali and Siddhi powers. There's a rock at the back of the temple where he recommends we touch, where it holds the energy. So goddess Angali gives you Siddhi powers or miraculous powers. Next, on the next day, we leave bright and early to fly to Madurai. And then, since it'll be mostly a travel day, we'll be able to go to the Nambunaiki temple in the evening. This is a healing temple where Dr. Pillai's mother was brought as an infant, where she was had an unknown disease, and they did everything they possibly could. And they finally brought her to this temple, which was out in the middle of the jungle at the time, and left the mother and the child there. And she was healed. She was miraculously healed. So this is a very powerful healing temple. The next day, which is Dr. Pillai's birthday, we will set off early in the morning to bathe in the sea of Rama, and then go into the 22 wells, not into the 22 wells, the bucket of water actually just gets dumped on your head of the 22 wells. Then we will change and go to the temple itself, which is the temple for purification and karma removal. All of this is very purifying and karma removal, especially on this day. This temple is important because if you know the mythology of the story of Rama and Sita and the demon king Ravana, who took Sita, Rama's wife, Rama went and had to kill the demon. But before he could go back to India, and that happened in Sri Lanka, before he can go back to India, he had to do penance for his sins. He killed someone, so he had to still, ask Shiva for forgiveness. So he built a Shiva lingam out of sand and did the ritual there, and that's where this temple is. That's what Rama did to relieve himself of his sins and do the penance for forgiveness before he could go back to India to his family and his kingdom. So we'll be there. So that's the Rameshwaram temple. Next is the Rakakshi temple, and that is Dr. Pillai's family temple. So Rakakshi is the goddess who can give boons. She also provides protection. There will be some chanting there and a special ritual being done at the temple. So there'll be lots of festivities happening because it's Dr. Pillai's birthday. So it'll be, quite lit up here with rituals. We'll probably do a fire ritual and Srimurti chanting. And then we get back to the hotel and we are received by Dr. Pillai's birthday initiation via Zoom. Next day, we depart for Tuticorin, which is where we go to the 9 different Vishnu temples. They're called Navatirupati, and each of these temples is a cluster of temples very close together. So that's why we're able to hit all of them within a day and a half. And each temple is associated with a planet. So it's Vishnu plus a planet. So you're getting the blessings of both Vishnu, who is the sustainer god. He gives us everything that we need to sustain ourselves on the earth. Good health, good relationships, prosperity, everything that you need to, and spirituality and enlightenment. So all of the features of Vishnu are represented in these 9 temples. So we'll be going to all of them. So each of these are named here and the blessing or boon that it provides. Next day, we'll be going to the rest of the temples, or most of them. Blessings for family, fertility, prosperity, inner peace, friends, protection, spirituality, wisdom, spiritual growth. Then the next day we depart for, we go to the final temple of Vishnu, and then we move on to Tirunelveli. And there's an incredible temple here, and it has these Agastya Falls. Dr. Pillai recently did a YouTube video about the importance of Saint Agastya and how he is the domain of our soul. And he gave a mantra. So we thought it would be compelling to go to this temple and commune with Agastya and these healing waters of this sacred space. So that's a very special day. We'll be en route. That final night, the night before, we arrive in Madurai. Now we're in Madurai, and we have many temples to go to here. This is the Kosami Temple, Alagar, and that is where there's the 18 steps up to Kosami. And this is where he isn't even open. Like, you can't even see him. He's so powerful. He's kept behind a door, but you'll be there in his, energetic presence. So there's that. There is the Meenakshi Temple, which is one of the most famous and largest temples in all of India. We won't be able to get into the inner area of the temple because it's only for those with Hindu certificates or official Hindus. They don't want tourists to go through, even though we aren't tourists. We are spiritual people, but still they don't really know. We'll do our best to try to get in, but we might not be able to. But the outer section of the temple is still very powerful, and we can we'll be doing that. There's 2 other temples here. There's a Murugan temple for bestowing wisdom and courage, and another temple for removing obstacles. This is where this is your final day of the birthday trip. So if you're with us for just the first week, then this is the day you will fly back to Chennai. And those of you who are staying on to go to Kumbakonam, we will depart for Kumbakonam. So our friends will fly north to Chennai, and we will drive to Kumbakonam. Once we arrive in Kumbakonam, then there is a host of temples that we'll be going to. We're staying at a very beautiful heritage resort where there are all of the 6 Murugas, all the 6 that represent the different powers that Muruga has, the different heads that he has, the different power spots that he has. They're all in this resort. And Dr. Pillai himself has worshipped and done hydration and flower offerings to all of these. And we have a priest who will be there to do these rituals for us. So it's the Mahakumbha Abhishekam, which happens only once every 12 years. Is a very special time. We will be in India during this time, and Dr. Pillai is commissioning rituals at this location, and we will be able to be there in person. So Thai Kartike is a special day for Muruga, which is why it'll be happening on this day at this location, and that's where we'll be. So next day, we'll be going to some more temples here. There's a Shiva temple to provide peace and protection. There's the temple for relationship temple. There's a temple for Venus for prosperity. There's a white Ganesha temple, which is where the story is that Ganesha formed out of the foam from the ocean. So there's a variety of temples we'll be going to. I should say that Kumbakonam has the most temples concentrated in one area. So there'll be plenty of temples to choose from. This, might even change. we'll see as we go. One of the things that is very important, though, actually, is the Saturn temple. Saturn is one of the harshest, I could say, planets to deliver karma. And he delays things, but he only has your good in mind. He wants you to be purified. So going to this temple is very is a way to appease Saturn and gain his blessings. And we will be going on a Saturday. Vishnu temple, here's the relationship temple and Lakshmi's birthplace. And on February 9th, we proceed back to Chennai. We'll make probably a pit stop for lunch and then go on to the hotel, which we'll have dinner there. And that's when you would depart anytime after 8 p.m. India time on February 9th. So here's the pricing and the early bird, as I mentioned, there's some savings to be had for trip 1 and then also for the extended trip. There's also a payment plan if you register, I believe, by November 16th, so that you can have 3 payments. Nadi trip. So if people have been asking, if I get my Nadi reading, can I do my Nadi remedies? Yes, you can. I would personally recommend that you stay at a day later, a day or two later after, if you're doing the full trip, because Kumbakonam is where most of the Nadi remedy temples are going to be. You might have one that's far away, but we can deal with that when we know. So the important thing is for you to have your Nadi reading done soon so that we know which temples are included, and then we can plan your trip for you. And if there's several people staying back in Kumbakonam, we'll make sure that you have the car and the guide and all that. And if you're doing just another day or another week and you're doing it all by yourself, then of course we'll plan that all for you as well. So what we need to know really what we're looking at in terms of which temples you're going to. You might even have some of the temples that we're already going to in your list from your Nadi, which is fine. That means you're just going to be able to get it done on the group trip. So, but it all depends on knowing what temple remedies are in your Nadi reading. So once you register for the trip, we will be in touch with you about asking you if you want to do your Nadi reading. And if so, we're offering a special price for that because it's just the reading and not the remedies. The remedies will be done separately, and then we don't know what the cost is for that. So we'll just price that out for you separately. And then you get to decide whether you want to add that on to your trip or not. Again, all of this is a little time sensitive in terms of you booking your flight and wanting to plan how long you'll be there and when. So we're ready to help you out with all of that. The first step would be registering for the trip. And if you're not ready to do that, just reach out to us and let us know so that we can assist you with the logistics. Program concierge or support, which is a lot easier to spell, at PillaiCenter.com is a fine way to reach out for us. So if you have any questions, please ask them, and I am happy to answer. Can itinerary be sent to all those already booked? Yes, it will. We have the itinerary in case it changes. It's one of those things where it might change, and we'll know as we go, but we definitely have the itinerary ready. Any other questions? Hi, T. She went on the trip last year. She said, oh my goodness, all I can say is if your heart's desire is to go, then go. I went last year. It was amazingly restorative. I came home and faced 4 family deaths and loss, but still feel the blessings. Oh my gosh. Thank you. I know she was there. We had such a good group last year. Oh my gosh. We had 28 people at our max in terms of on the trip, and it was a really good size. We'll probably have something similar this year, and thank you for that. Anyone from UK should consider confirming before the budget next Wednesday due to the possible effect of USD Exchange, yes. Thank you for that, David. Yeah, we can't control the exchange rates, so we have our pricing in USD. So whatever you need to do. Oh, and sorry, definitely need to tell you, everything is included except your journey to India. So once you arrive in India, we pick you up from the airport, no matter when it is. We bring you to the hotel. The hotels, as long as you arrive, as I meant the time I mentioned, on the 30th, then your hotel is included. Your breakfast is not included on that day because you'd be arriving after 10 a.m. So, and the buffet would most likely be over. So, everything is included from our dates that are mentioned, except for your flight into India. Once you get there, it is 3 meals a day, all your bottled water that you need. It will be your hotel, your transportation within India, the tips at the hotels, the rituals that are done in the temples, the payment for the priests, the guides. We give you a little, welcome bag and puja kit. You're going to receive a yantra, a 5-symbol yantra, Srimber's yantra, where you'll be carrying that around to all the temples and getting it energized. When the priest comes and has a plate where you normally would put flowers or offerings, you can put your yantra there, and he'll go and bring it into the sanctum and have it be blessed by the deity and bring it back. Just have to be careful, make sure. People last year just had them in baggies, so they were named, so they knew which one was theirs. So you keep getting back your own yantra. So there's all of that. So all of that is included in your stay, in the pricing. Any questions? Baggage. So when you arrive in India, there's a baggage restriction on the flight from Chennai to Madurai. But we're going to drive down some of the big bags so that you don't have to worry about that. But the folks on trip 1, you'll be flying back from Madurai to Chennai, and there is a baggage restriction. I think it's 30 pounds or 40 pounds. We will let you know that for sure so that you are properly packed. Question is, what about immunizations? There is nothing that's required for immunizations, so we don't worry about that, and that is all your personal decisions. If you want to check to see what's recommended, then by all means, go ahead and do that. We won't be, trekking through the woods or, getting bitten by animals, hopefully. It's a pretty tame thing that we do, on the bus, onto the temple, onward. So you're always very well taken care of. Your visa, you do need a visa to enter India from most countries. You can easily get it on as an e-visa. So you just go online. It usually takes, a couple days to get back. But I would definitely look into that because every country is different. We're not involved. We can't write you letters, things like that. Just you have to go to the online resources and get your visa. Food. There is 3 meals a day, as I mentioned. Some locations will be vegetarian only. Some places will serve some chicken or fish, but they're always marked. So if you're a vegetarian, there's going to be plenty of options. And if you are not a vegetarian, there'll be some options. There'll be some additional options for you that we will have chicken and fish at some of the buffets. But there is a hotel that is all veg. So when we get there, you just won't have you won't have a non-veg option. It's always really good to bring any supplements that you need. If it's protein or whatnot, then you can just bring that with you. There's, when you register, we send you a packing list, little fanny pack, something to carry with you, but bottled water, things like that. There's, it's it's not too rigorous. Like I said, we're not trekking through the forest or anything. So it's not too hard. T said, and she came with us last year. She said, if you are concerned that Baba G won't be there physically, don't. He met with us live through Zoom video and he felt us, and we definitely felt his Shakti 100%. And he gave us each a personal message. Absolutely. I can't stress it enough. Like his energy is enveloping the trip and every one of us. Fun fact, last year, we started the trip and like she said, we had this Zoom session where everyone walked up and was able to say hello and give their name. And he said hello and gave a blessing. And he called me every day, like, how is everyone doing? What's going on? Where are you? So he's always there. And he would sometimes record messages where I could play it, or give it to the group. We have a WhatsApp group for the trip members so that we're always communicating and making sure everyone's like on the same page if things change, passing on that. And so I could feel him like completely begin the trip. And then at the end, when it was like the final day and everyone's kind of going off on their journeys, and he called me, he's like, so where are you? I'm like, back in Chennai, everyone's leaving. And I could feel his energy kind of being withdrawn. And I was like, and I all of a sudden started getting really, really tired. And I was like, but they're not done yet. I was like, but they're not done yet. It's not going to be till like midnight because I wanted to, see people off. So as I said that, he was like, okay, he acknowledged it, and I could feel his energy come back, and I was like able to keep going forward. So that moment was so defining for me because I could literally feel him like taking his attention off the group, and I was like, not yet. We have until midnight, and then it came back in. So he's there 100%. And my first trip to India was, I've said this story before, but one of the most powerful ever. And he wasn't physically there. He doesn't have to physically be there. And that's the beauty of Dr. Pillai, not only now, but in the past, but as he gains more power and wisdom and energy, that darshan, that energetic transmission can happen no matter where you are, if you are connected with him in your heart. So he is guiding it 100%. Alita said, I dreamed of this trip. I have the intention to take it. Wonderful. I hope to see you. Have you talked about the proxy pilgrimage yet? No, not yet. So thank you for bringing that up. So for those of you who love everything we're about to do, but aren't able to make it physically on this trip, we will have a proxy option, which means we will have a yantra that's dedicated to you. You'll have the same 5-symbol yantra that everyone else is having. We will take it to all of the power spots. We'll take it down to Rameshwaram. We'll have it bathed in the ocean. We'll have it bathed in the 22 wells. We will have it with us through all of the temples and receiving all of this blessings and darshan. And then it'll be mailed back to you. So you will literally have this energy. Well, yantra means machine. So it's a machine that churns the energy. And this will be supercharged and powered with this, like whatever it is, 30 temples that will be on, and then mailed to you. So yes, there'll be proxy. And what we also have is a proxy group, WhatsApp group, where I'm able to send messages, send pictures of the temples we're going to really have you feel like you're there. So nothing beats being in a temple. Like literally Dr. Pillai said, if you are in a temple, it doesn't matter. It's worth more than any seminar you'd ever go to because you're physically there and receiving this energetic download. But the next best thing is having the yantra to absorb this energy for you and then have that mailed to you. So that'll be next. We will release that. We just needed to get all these details out for the folks who are coming with us in the physical form so that you can plan. There's a lot of planning that needs to happen, right? So bless our Baba G, always attended also. All right. Any other questions? All right. So we'll go ahead and conclude. If you have any other questions, please write to support@PillaiCenter.com. We will take care of all of that. If you know you are attending but can't register for a few weeks, just let us know also, because we can help you start getting it rolling. Like, let's say you do want to do your naughty reading and plan a trip. We can begin planning that too. So we don't want to leave things to the last minute because there are a lot of small logistics that go into every single person who attends. You know, we're taking care of all of those details. What if we don't need a yantra? What if we don't need a yantra? If you don't need the yantra, then you don't need to have one. If you're coming on the trip in person, we'll give you the yantra. If you don't want it, you don't need to take it. If you're doing the proxy, then if you don't want the yantra, you don't need to have that either. You can just be part of the WhatsApp group and part of the rituals, because in the proxy part of the group, we will have your names and birth star given to all of the priests who are doing the rituals at all of the temples. Okay, so you will be represented there by that as well. So that should take care of it. Okay, so it was wonderful being here with you, and I am super excited about being on this trip with you and look forward to your transformation in this journey to India. If you have any questions, let us know. Namaste and God bless.